Let's talk about the pros and cons of living in Madrid. Starting with the basics. Cultural richness. Madrid is home to world-class museums like El Prado and Palacio Real. El Prado is actually one of my favorite museums. I think it's beautiful, it's a great vibe in there, and it's full of important pieces. One of my top three include Las Meninas by Diego Velázquez, The Three Graces by Rubens, and the Triptych of the Garden of Earthly Delights by Bach. Gastronomy, my favorite topic. Madrid is such a place for foodies. The city offers an incredible array of restaurants with traditional Spanish food, and then a big list. There is Japanese, there's Chinese, there's Venezuelan, there is Mexican, Italian, and all of the restaurants that I've gone to, Indian. As I was saying, all of the restaurants that I've gone to, I have found delicious. It's really hard to find bad food in Madrid. I think that's a true statement. And this reminds me that just yesterday, I was talking to a cousin-in-law who has been living here for 8 years, and he said that he still gets impressed with the food world in Madrid. Like, he never needs to repeat a restaurant. There's always something new to visit. There are constant advancements in cuisine, so he's always delighted by the food in Madrid. Lively atmosphere. This is funny, but when I first moved to Madrid, people that lived here would tell me like, oh, just the energy here. I love it here because of the energy. And I didn't get it at first, but then when I visit other places or when I compare Madrid to other places, I totally get it. People here are just ready to be social, to be friendly, to talk, to grab a beer here, to grab tapas there. It's a constant movement of a cosmopolitan city and also, I don't know, some lively, energetic vibe that you can feel in the city when you're walking around. There's never a sad or dull street or area in Madrid. Sunshine. Even in the winter time, there is sunshine, and I think that's very important. Transportation. Madrid has excellent public transportation. I think that everyone that lives in the city feels very proud to say that they can go somewhere in the bus, in the metro, and that they feel safe. It's clean, it's affordable, and it's great. The infrastructure for public transportation here is really, really good. Things to do. This is something else that people always said about Madrid before I moved here, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, it's just a city. How many things to do can you do if there are no mountains, there's no beach, there's no lake, there's no water, there's no like nature fun? But then I started to understand that there's always an event, there's always an exposition in a museum, there's always something going on. Like the other month there were sheep all over the city. Just, I don't know, there's something fun in Madrid to do every week. They're so well dressed too. It's a city that you go out and not only the buildings are beautiful, but the people look amazing on the streets. And I really like that. I also think Madrid is a cool place to come study if you are a young person. There's great nightlife. Drinks are super cheap, and there's great food, there's beautiful people. I don't know about universities, how good they are, but there are so many universities just around the area where I live in Salamanca. So many options. I also think that being a capital and an important city in Europe makes it that people are interested in technology and innovation, and that's really great for students. I also sense a really low risk of hard drugs in here, so I really like that. Quality of food. The food is not only great at restaurants, but also in the supermarkets. You can go to a really cheap supermarket and know that the products that you're getting are usually really good. You're going to find ecological or organic options, and the food just tastes amazing. And I'm telling you that as an American who would probably go to Publix or a supermarket in Florida and buy tomatoes and not taste anything, and then come here and fall in love with tomatoes because they just taste so great here. Social life and welcoming community. I think that it's interesting. I still don't have friends in Spain per se, just because my lifestyle, it's kind of particular. I work from home and I'm a new mom, so I'm very much at home all the time. It's just funny because when we first moved here, when I was pregnant, we met a friend of a friend, and he was texting us all the time, inviting us to these events that I didn't want to attend because I was pregnant and I didn't want to be out late. I just want to say that people here seem to be very welcoming and social, and they want to hang out. If you come to Madrid, there's a really high opportunity for you to make friends here. Overall quality of life, I think that not having to drive, having good medical care and public care, good food, good restaurants, places to go. There are so many things combined that make Madrid a great city to live. So I think that overall, Madrid is in my top cities for quality of life. But now let's talk about the cons of living in Madrid. Compared to other big capitals in the world, obviously Madrid is not the most expensive one, but compared to other cities within the country, Madrid is, I think, number one, the most expensive one. So that's a con. Traffic and pollution. Everyone that I know that drives in Madrid has told me that driving in Madrid is terrible because there are so many rules. The police has cameras all over the city, so if you do something that you shouldn't have done by accident, you just get a bill to your house of 200 euros for something super silly. So you really need to know the rules to drive in Madrid. It's not that easy to be a driver here. Also, some streets are small, the parkings, you have to know where they are. It's a bit complicated to drive in the city, and if you need to get a license here, the exams are long, and then, you know, pollution. The high volume of vehicles in the road causes pollution. Sometimes you're gonna go on your app to check the weather and it says like critical bad conditions, and it's because of that. About the language, I don't know if I should put this under pro or con, but some people speak English. But I do notice that when I go out with my husband, he struggles many times, more often than not, to find people that understand him in English. I have asked him directly, do you feel that I can say in my YouTube channel that a lot of people speak English? He said definitely not. I feel like some people speak English, so that could be a con. Siesta culture. I have nothing against this anymore. In the beginning, I used to complain a lot, but as a newcomer, you're going to struggle to adjust to this. Nowadays, I just, you know, live with it. And I don't even know clearly what are siesta hours, but I think that from 2 p.m. till 5, sometimes 6 p.m. And restaurants sometimes open as late as 8:30 p.m. I'm like, what? At that time, I just want to go in the shower and just relax in bed. I'm not trying to have a meal so late. Economic challenges. Like any other city, Madrid has faced big economic challenges. It can be really hard to get a job here. The job competition is massive, and then finding stable employment can be hard too. If you are going to come here and venture in the job hunting world, I would say be patient because it's not that easy and not that amusing. I know of people that end up with jobs that don't make them happy and salaries that are just okay, but I don't feel that sense of a drive for a job and high salaries and, you know, like in New York or in Miami. And when it comes to, I don't know what's the term in English for this, but I think here in Spain they call it monologar. So in order for you to monologar or validate your degree from another country in Spain, it's really tough. There are some careers where it's not even possible to do it, and some other ones it takes years. So if you are planning to come with your degree from another country, even if it's a degree in Spanish, I would say don't get your hopes high because there's a big likelihood that you won't be able to get a job in that field unless you start your studies again here in Spain. Weather. I did say that there's sunshine all year, but I don't love the weather in Madrid, and that's just personal. Maybe you will love it. I just don't like the winter, and I think winters here are very long. The winter starts in October, and I think last year at least it ended completely in May. How much is that? Like 6 months of winter. That's way too long for me, and the temperatures can go as low as 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And then in the summer, it can get as high as 100 degrees Fahrenheit or more. Someone could say that the temperatures have a big contrast there and it's not great. The late night culture. How do I start? People pretend to go out here in Spain after 9 p.m. Sometimes you're asked to meet at 10 p.m. And I get that maybe on a Saturday, but this also happens on weekdays, okay? And I find it crazy. It's just so different from our American culture to have people ask you to go out so late. I do think it's a barrier sometimes to socialize. So I told you earlier that people here are very social and they want to include you and everything, but also like I just can't. So yeah, I just think that the late night culture, it's a bummer. So let's just say that's something I haven't adjusted to. Tourist crowds. Depending on where you live, you're going to struggle with this. I think that I live in an area of Salamanca that I don't experience it that much. And I'm happy with it. There was a time that I lived in Barrio de las Letras, which is right in the center, and it gets really obnoxious when there's an event or something going on. I was there around Christmas and it was so busy. I remember to cross the street because there's a coffee shop across the street that I liked. I had to, I don't know, skip people and make sure I didn't trip, and it was just a mission to cross the street. Bureaucracy challenge. I think that some people would say that it's no different than in any other country. I think it's slightly more difficult just because I know that in the US we do a lot of things online and they're very simple, and I think that here in Spain things are a bit more complicated. I don't know if it's the language barrier. I don't know if they do things more by hand and manually. I do experience that I sometimes see people taking notes on a piece of paper when they could be using their computer. So you just gotta be patient with that. However, everything works, and I think that's great. Lack of nature. This is something personal. I love the city, but I also love cities with a nature element. So for example, Paris is a big cosmopolitan city, but there's a huge river that you can't miss, and I love that. And Miami with the beach. So I do feel like Madrid would be so much better if you could get more access to nature. Yes, there's Retiro Park, but it's full of tourists, and sometimes I want to be anywhere but there when I'm thinking of nature. But yeah, I think that that's something that this city is missing, like a big river or just something that feels like true nature that's not Retiro or Casa de Campo that also has like a fake lake there. Just my opinion. In conclusion, living in Madrid is absolutely great, and I'm surprised that I'm sitting here saying that, because last year when I moved here, of course, in the adjustment process, I was dreading my life here. I did not like it. I was complaining about every little thing, and I thought that I made a mistake by moving here, but now that I'm here, I actually don't want to go back to Miami. For some reason, I just feel so at home here in Madrid. I think that the lifestyle and the quality of life is so much greater than in Miami. So I believe strongly that Madrid is a great city and a little bit underrated. When I look up online best cities to live in, Madrid is usually not there, and I think that's a big mistake. If you are looking for a city to live, please consider Madrid, or not, because then I'll have more space for myself. Just kidding. I think Madrid should be considered in those lists. So that's it. Sweet and simple, to the point. I'll see you soon in another video, and I gotta go because I can hear my baby crying. See you soon.